guys, Pat Sloan here. Thank you for all of the birthday wishes for my dad yesterday. That was so sweet of you. And we had a big surprise because my brother flew in from Florida and it was so much fun. He was just here, go to dinner, fly home today on Tuesday. So you know how it is. You do what you got to do. And it was wonderful to have him and be able to see him because it's been a little while. Okay, so today we have Holiday Hoopla and we have the Harrisonburg fundraising quilt for the Virginia Quilt Museum. So we're going to start out first with two other things, which are the sort of celebrations that happen on today. There's lots of celebrations that happen every day of the year, and so I'm going to celebrate two of them today, and I'm going to read about them a little bit because they're actually both kind of both things that I learned a little bit about. So first is the color of today is Color Day. So this was actually started by the Portuguese Color Association. They decided that it would be fun to celebrate the color in general. And so what they did is they selected March 21st because it's the day of the equinox, which means the length of the day and the night are almost the same as the sun's rays hit the equator. And so they want people to, and that people do this because it's been going on for quite a while, is they have science fairs and art fairs and, you know, that kind of a thing. And since, you know, it's kind of a worldwide happening, so I don't know if you've ever encountered a Color Day event, but I think it sounds super good for us since we are quilt makers and we are all about color. Okay, the other thing is that Jan wrote me, our friend Jan here who watches the videos, and she said that today is World Down Syndrome Day. And she was asked if I would let everybody know about that because one of the things that they do for that is they wear mismatched socks. So I have my mismatched socks on, and I'm going to tell you why in a second because she gave me all the information. So here I am. I have got my pink sock, there we go, my pink sock, and this is some socks that our ambassador Carrie in New York sent me, and then I have my black sock on, which is my wool sock because I actually need to have wool socks being on this concrete floor, and it was like 26 degrees this morning when we got up. So it is still, it's still winter. Winter, we're done. We finished yesterday. Go home, go home. It's like, it's time to go home, winter. It's time to go home. You don't need to stay any longer. Lights out. Okay. So let me read you what Jan said. She said that her grandson has Down syndrome, and so she knows quite a bit about this, and her daughter's friend designed lots of socks poster to be shared around the world as possible, and her daughter's friend creates a new design every year. The idea is that the poster is colored and put in windows all over the world to acknowledge the Down Syndrome Day. March 21st was selected for a very clever reason. It is also held on the 21st day of the third month due to the uniqueness of the triplication of the 21st chromosome, which leads to Down syndrome. So it's a little extra something that those people have. So I just thought that was really neat. It's not, I don't know a whole lot about that. So I learned a bit reading up, and in the description box below, there is a link so that you can go and read up about it as well. And I hope that you will also wear am I at? I don't want to fall on my butt. Wear mismatched socks like me. There you go. You can see them. Do that. Okay. We are on Holiday Hoopla, the next block, which is the middle here. So I want to show you, I have put up some of gray for sashing. And this is actually my, from my Promise Me fabric line. And it's a sort of a steel gray, which I think that color is going to look really good. Now I did some auditions with some other gray that I had that were, so I have enough of this one, but I only did an audition with just the strip. I didn't hang it up like that one. And it's a little bit lighter and it's mottled. And so let me just pop a picture up of that. Now this mottled gray from the Grunge line, which is actually also designed by French General, that same company. I like it. I'm not sure I like it as much. I'm not sure. It competes a little bit for me with the fabric. And then the other one, This was my original, so it's totally out for me. Now that the blocks are up there, and specifically, I put this around the middle heart for the audition in this picture, and I totally did not like it. I actually like it if I put it around some of the other blocks, but it has to go around all of them because I'm not going to mismatch the sashing. It's not a big enough quilt to have something like that for me. So this is a no-go, even that's what I bought it for, which is fine. I'll use it for something else. And then I'll think on this one. I might put this as a big piece of fabric like this up and then try it, but I'm definitely leaning towards the gray here from the Promise Me. And I don't really want to add an additional color because there's not enough of the additional colors in there. And for me, I just felt like that would be too much. And I like this sort of the weight of this gray. So this is an excellent way if you have enough of a fabric and you're trying to audition it to see how it looks for sashing between the blocks. If you can just pin it up on your wall and put the blocks on top of it, you don't have to cut anything. And it actually gives you a really, really good view of what you're going to have. So I will leave this here till after we make the block, and we'll put the block number 8 up there. But I want to show you what block number 8 is. It is from this quilt in the book. So this is a holiday Hoopla book it's my most recent book, and we are doing a block, 9 of the quilts. There's 12 quilts, but we're taking 9 of the quilts and we're doing a block from each one. And Stars and Stripes is this one. Let me get the other camera because I just want to show you that quilt up close so that you can just see the fabrics a little bit, and I'll talk you through what I did there. I used a couple of different fabric lines for this one. It's not just one fabric line, it was several fabric lines. But I just want to show you all of the flags are done with the exact same fabric, and all of the sparkler blocks are done with the exact same fabric. And so first let's look. Here is the, we're going to look up here because I don't have to crouch. So here is the flag, and everyone is made exactly the same. Those are the fabrics I used. So they're not all white because, I have this white background. So I needed some that red with some image on them. And then the sparkler had this dot, and then this other sort of print that had the red, kind of red, white, and blue, but all in light blues. And then I repeated this was from the flag base over here. So, and then did I use any of the reds? No, the red and blue are different, are not in the flag, but I took the blue from the sparkler here down onto the sashing part. This blossom fabric by my friend Christopher Thomas, this is a basic of his and I've used it quite a bit. It is super effective for this quilt, so effective. And then the wave stitch it's got this nice wave. This looks a long arm design, so that is really nice. It's one without pearls. Sometimes they do them with pearls, so there'd be like little circles every so often, but this is just a plain one, which I think turned out perfect. The back of this, I put a polka dot. The whole thing is a polka dot. I love that. Okay, so also thank you for those of you who sent me Starbucks cards and gorgeous cups like this one. I'm channeling, feeling like it's summer on this, 28-degree morning when I woke up. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're going to go to the other side of the table and pick the fabrics for the next block for in here. We're getting down to the end. I am loving how this is turning out. Okay, let's look at the fabric for this one. We're doing the pieced block from the quilt, like I pointed out, just to remind you. So let's look at the fabric and not the inside of my trash can. What's with me in the trash can there? Okay, so we have this light part here, and I already decided I'm going to use this. And the background, remember the background is this gray. So this is the light part, and then I'm going to go with the star points being the solid, just to give it really definition so it doesn't blend or carry on or go away. I'm looking at one of the gray prints for the middle. That's kind of neat. Also, I could handle having a bigger print in the middle, so I like that too. I could go with another cream color in the middle, and that would that would mimic, I would just do the pretty side, that would mimic the block more. See, because the block has light, light. So I think I'm going to go that way rather than the gray in the middle. Okay, so now we have the blue part and then those 4 cornerstones, which really sort of give it that look. It sort of like, you know, highlights those 4 corners. So you know, there's quite a bit of fabric here, and I've already been, you know, chopping into a lot of these reds. And so I'm thinking there's probably a red that has enough, but if not, I am going to go with what I used for the border triangles, because I have plenty of that, because I'm going to use it also for the backing of the quilt. Whatever's left, all this stuff I'll piece together for the backing. So I have plenty of that. I use up the smaller piece first. So that would be the blue part out here. Let's just put that over here. Yeah, and then the points. I'm thinking I'll just pop the green down again for the 4 points. I could do the green or the chocolate, because the chocolate's already used twice, and so I think the green would be good, and it kind of pulls out the little bit of green tones in this. So it's just the 4 corners to give it that heavy definition that the original has. All right, this is it. I'm going to sew it up. So I ended up switching the middle fabric. That's the only change that I made. I took one of the prints that was a little more dense rather than more open, and also because the block right up here had that exact same print that I auditioned in its center, and I just didn't want it to be the same. You know, I thought, and plus I think it could use the weight, you know, of there. Now, one thing is, if you wanted to do like your star points, I didn't have a dark gray. Like if I had thought about it, maybe I would have done the dark gray, the star points, like the same as the sashings, but then I don't want to make it feel like it's a hole, you know, like when you use it the same as the background. So anyway, they're the red. Now, if you wanted that star to be even probably more intense, you could have done a red center. I think that would have made it like tighten up, but I wanted it to be like these stars. Okay, so let me just put that up there real quick, and it touches on the other 2 blocks like that. And as you can see, I have all the sashings up here so that you can see all of them. So the sashings are all made and they're all sewn together. So I've got 4 sashing units sewn all up, so that next week after we do the last block, then all I have to do is, the borders, the borders. The borders are all done. And then next week I would just do the last block and then do sashings, and the week after we'll be done. So there is, so good, right? So good. All right, we had the Harrisonburg, but before we do that, I have the critter parade, came in and rearranged them all. I thought, well, let me just see what they look like if I move them around some and just do a different sort of layout. Let me just show you, so it'll be easier. Before I took the critters down from yesterday, I thought I would just lay them out in a totally different format rather than the altered, sort of asymmetrical format. I was going for something with all of the blocks now that's more symmetrical. So I put the big block in the middle, Lisa the unicorn, and then varied squarish and more rectangle things. It does have an extra row here, which doesn't make me happy for balance. So I would need to figure out something either, and also moving maybe some of these small ones up there. But it's kind of fun to lay it out a different way and see what the effect would be. I still think these are going to be 2 quilts. It's just going to be, I think, nicer to have some space between the animals and be able to use some sashing, whether it's squares and rectangles, something like that. But here it is in an alternate format. So that's not my favorite of the 2. I prefer the first one. And a bunch of you are like, oh, don't make 2 quilts, make one just like this. And it's like, well, I might. Depends on if I get more critters. If more critters arrive, then I won't be able to really fit them in, maybe, so we'll see. Nothing's set in stone. I'm not sewing it right now. But I also don't want a gigantic quilt. If I want to do 2 quilts, then I want something I can hang here in the house and look at. So it has to be a little bit smaller, wall hanging, or lap size, but not overly big lap size, because my spaces won't be able to handle it. Okay, we are going to do the We're going to do Harrisonburg. It is just doing it. So let me get it. Let me get it out. Oops, can't forget my blocks for today. These are interchangeable, so they can go in any spot in the quilt. Have to do a few like that so they're not all like the directional ones all in the same spot. We are on the last block for the Harrisonburg, the last week of blocks. So it's the same block, over and over for the rows. And this is the last coloration. What I'm going to do is on Saturday, I will put all my Harrisonburg up on the wall. I will put the little sashing pieces in and hopefully have some of those rows sewn together to talk about. And I've collected a few of yours, more recent Harrisonburg photos. So if you have something, please today share your Harrisonburg progress, where you are, and I'll collect your pictures for a parade of quilts, a parade of quilt blocks or sections or whatever. Some of you have the whole center part done and sewn together. They're just fantastic, so fantastic. I just love it so much. But I want to just get it up on the wall so that you can see what that looks like on Saturday, because I didn't want to take this down today because I need to do some pictures and stuff. Oh, the life of doing multiple projects on the same day. Sometimes it's just a little busy. So we'll just do more on Harrisonburg this Saturday. So be sure you come and join me. Okay, my friend, you're going to make your block for Holiday Hoopla. And if you don't have this book for that quilt, I can't wait to hang that. That's going on the wall in June. So I am super, super excited about that. All right, I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.